Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversation with Calvin, We the Species. It's March 4th. It's a Friday. Love Fridays. I could do a real lengthy Johnny Carson monologue here about being with Tommy Grasleey, aka Tommy Gunn, a musician, all around nice guy, musician, singer-songwriter, producer, who has an album coming out, California Way, that I've listened to a bunch of times secretly, and just to go in depth with Tommy, and we've chatted for a whole bunch. It's such a special thing for me, and to really jump in to a marvelous writer and musician. I mean, I'm really thrilled that this has happened. So that's the essence of my Johnny Carson monologue, and he's a big California guy, even though he's from Nebraska, California. So anyway, Tommy, you come from such royalty in your musical family. Why don't you just start with a little bit of a history of you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Calvin, for having me on your show. I think it's awesome. And I think you're awesome as a human being.
Well, thank you.
We have had some great conversations, and I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I really respect what you're doing. And I think you're a great human being. And yeah, I think we're like-minded. I come from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, steel town with steel workers, blue collar guys, toughness, and drink beers, cash your check, let's go, sort of rigmarole. But on both sides of my family was always music. My father played in bands ever since I can remember. And my grandfather also played in bands and played piano, and he's actually Rod Stewart's cousin. So Rod Stewart's my cousin's second removed. But, we'd be sitting at my grandfather's, we'd just jump on the piano and start playing some Frank Sinatra or something like that. And, he left his heart in San Francisco sort of thing. And, we all just kind of like dug it. And then my dad's side, my father, my father is a sax player, and he's played with so many bands, so many great bands in Canada. CROWBAR, they had a big hit in 1971 called "Oh What a Feeling, What a Rush." He's played with King Biscuit Boy, who said no to the Everly Brothers and the Allman Brothers.
Wow.
He's played with Ray Materick, Linda Put the Coffee On, fabulous folk singer. And so I get it honestly enough. But at the same time, my parents split up, divorced, and I had two kids of my own, and I always wanted to do the right thing rather than my parents, and I didn't want to pull the rug out for my kids. So I hung in with a kind of a sour relationship, but my kids benefited from it and are doing fine, and they're great. So that's all that matters. And then, when it was time, I had to leave and ended up on my sister's couch for a year, wondering, what my life was going to be like. And then I met an amazing human being who changed my life completely, 180, and inspired my last two albums.
Wow.
And of course, the last one being California Way. But the one before that was called I Believe in Love. And I did one before that called Unleash the Hounds, which is really guitar oriented, really rocking. And then, I think that each album is totally different in its own entity. And this last one, I think, is my best work so far. So,
okay. I Believe in Love. It's funny. I was reading some of the. I try to do my homework. But in that album, there's I guess a theme: stop hating and start loving. Correct?
Yeah, the album goes from hate to love. Correct. Yeah.
It's kind of very appropriate for current events.
It's really a start to finish listen, about 35 minutes, and it goes from hate to love. And I think the world really needs that now. I mean, like, I can't believe how much the timing, like when I released that album in 2020, and I released it, and next thing you know, COVID's here, canceling everything, and the whole world has changed. And now it's, you know, to me, it seems like a real me world where everybody just cares about themselves and not much about anybody else. And to me, that's a sad statement, but seems to be the truth. So in that sense, I think the album couldn't have been timed any better because the world needs love so badly right now.
It really does, in so many ways. And I in my own little way, I confront, you know, the me stuff going around. And the other day, the United Nations came out with a report that climate is now officially irreversible.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna be able to fix it. We just didn't do enough. And it's because everybody's me, and not concentrating enough on that. And you know, the oil companies are doing their thing, and everybody's making money. And I didn't want to go in this direction, but the world needs actually
More love.
the world needs love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I found this, you know, fascinating. So to talk about California Way, before we do that, one quick, I have a couple off-topic things.
Sure.
It's a one-word answer, so but anyway, excluding family or friends, Tommy, somebody living or dead you like to spend a day with.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
an
it is a
interesting,
wow. It
that's
is a
very
wow.
interesting question.
It is. Could
Well,
be a couple too. There's no rules here.
okay, a couple of people for sure. John Lennon, no question. And it may be a little bit crazy, but I would have to say Keith Moon. That's just for a total opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay. Great answers. Great
Thank
answer.
you.
No, it's a great question. So let's talk about the California Way, because I listened to it a few times. Like I said, took notes, got lots of notes, and to get inside the head of a writer, the feeling and the emotion and all these ingredients, I think is a kind of a rare and precious thing to be able to do, barring the lines from an album, Rare, Precious, and Beautiful, from the Bee Gees. You know, so I think your words are rare, precious, and beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, so I want to show. I have a picture, California Way, which is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yep. So I wanted to show that, and so first on, the first song is Heads, Head On.
Yeah.
And you know, you did all the writing, some collaboration, you know, with this. In kind of reading, I loved the words. Well, part of this was motivated by Amy.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Because we're a team. And, you know, with Amy, I'm definitely, I like to quote Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, is I'm a better man. And when I walk beside her, I'm definitely a better man. And she changed my whole life. And so I'm forever grateful for her. And yeah, the song is really about us, you know, hitting life head on, you know, and, you know, the ups and downs of life, and, you know, staying positive and rising, helping each other rise to the best that we possibly can be. And I think, you know, that's really what this song's about. And I mean, like, you got to look at things in a particular way, where you look things with a positive outlook, or, you know, not everything is doom and gloom.
Mhm.
I mean, that's only on perspective. You know, you really have to look at things in a positive way. And I think that's, you know, really how you can find your bliss, as far as I'm concerned, Amy and I, and that's how we tackle and challenge it. And we encourage anybody to do it, and it seems to work well.
You're right in the song, get the job done because we have fun.
Yeah.
And that kind of resonated with me. I want to go back, your description of California. Well, let me say, California Way, having listened to it a few times and digested it, I, in my own little way, have come to the realization that this album is perfect. Watch how I developed this. This album is perfect for anybody who lives in California right now, anybody who's been to California, and anybody who would like to go to California.
Yeah, baby.
That pretty much includes everybody. Everybody. No, I went when I was working in the eyewear business. I had my first trip to California. I'd never been. I always dreamed of it in California, and we spent a lot of time driving around. Friends of mine and people who I worked with, we drove some canyons and up on the that famous high road. I forget the name, but yeah, exactly. Thank you. And I was so overwhelmed and so smitten with California. I mean, the week I was there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and I actually said I really shouldn't come back here, because if I came back here again, I wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah.
But I think, just from everything I've listened, and this is such an anthem to California living. And listen, I think it's a great special state. I think they're so progressive and so in the forefront of everything. So that's what I think the album is for, basically anybody. I love to be able to feel and hear the music, but the words are so clear, and they reverberate, and it makes you think. And I've always had a problem, you know, with hard rock, because the music overwhelms the words sometimes. But here you have such a fine balance. And again, I'm not really a sophisticated music person. My son out there can tell you that. And actually, my second novel, I write about my son and me and music. It is what it is. So that's a head on. And next up is Hollywood Inn.
Yeah. Just like you said, you know, like checking in for the very first time, you know, at the Hollywood Inn. It's like, you know, even with keeping politics and religion out of California, it's just such a beautiful place. It really is. And like when you go there for the first time, you're in awe. Like I was in awe, and it really, you know, inspired the whole album. Like, I mean, just the, you know, like you said, the canyons looking down into the ocean. It's just so beautiful. And I found the people there were super friendly, and the musicians were a pleasure to work with. I mean, I was so fortunate to work with heavyweight, iconic musicians who spoke to me with the same respect. And, you know, it seemed very loving. Like the whole album was made with great love, and I just think that it all came together the way it was supposed to. And yeah, like California really is a beautiful place, and that's why I wrote the album, for sure. And I would never have seen any of that if it wasn't for Amy, you know. And that's
right.
You know, she inspired the album. Like I said, like she is an amazing person.
Where'd you guys meet?
Wow, we met. I selfishly, I kept sending Amy invites to my shows in Hamilton. I did, you know, many shows, and of course she ignored them. And then I sent her a video called "You're Right for Me" and "Hounds of Hamilton." And of course, Amy and her family are from Hamilton originally, and she really dug the video. So we started talking, and then online, and then I asked her if she wanted to come and watch me rehearse one night because she was in town, and she said sure. So we met, and then wow, the rest is history. I never, you know, as soon as I saw her, I knew she was my soulmate. So I mean, my love at first sight, yeah, it was for me.
Perfect.
And our love just continues to grow.
It's great.
I'm very.
It's a great story. Really is a great story.
Thank you.
And it's funny. I met my wife at a bar in New York,
Beautiful.
and I actually write about it in my second novel because how it happened is really extraordinary. I was telling a bartender I was from Texas and my father has oil wells, which is not true. I'm from Jersey. My father's a shoe salesman. But that's what I was telling the bartender, and this girl just happened to walk over to the bar and hear me tell the bartender I'm from Texas. Of course, she didn't believe me because I don't have a Texas accent. She said something really, she said something that kind of bothered me to a friend, like, you know, this guy is really cool. He's not cool. And it kind of bothered me that it's none of her business. I wasn't talking to her. So I said, can we talk? And we sat down in the corner. It was a singles dance, and you know, I got married 7 months later.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's far out.
but it is far out. And you know, the 2 seconds later, she walks over. I said the thing to the bartender, and she's gone, and I'm gone, and we're not here. So
Wow.
next up on the album is Topanga Canyon,
Yes.
and I didn't know a lot about Topanga Canyon, so I did a little reading on it. What an amazing place.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Music, film, a nudist colony. I mean, it's like a mecca of creativity.
It truly is. And you know, I had a couple of my friends who Chip and Pepper, they introduced the song, and they're back, you know, on the run, having fun with Tommy Gunn, and it's so perfect. It's like a party song. And actually, the first line in the song is Sagebrush Tina and her friends shaking their asses down in Calabasas, and where the action never stops. And it's funny because Amy and I, our favorite place to go was called the Sagebrush Cantina. So that's how that came about. And a matter of fact, while we were doing the song, we were recording the song, Greg Bissonette, who played drums on the album, also played with David Lee Roth. And he said, yeah, he says, we did the first album, Damn Yankees. And David said to me, where can we play this album where, you know, nobody will bother us and we can get a, you know, a little bit of a response and whatever. And Greg said, well, there's the Sagebrush Cantina. Well, he goes, what's that? And Greg said, let's go take a look. So they went down there. David loved it. It's beautiful. It's an outdoor bar that, you know, it's just unbelievably beautiful. And they have live music from noon till midnight. It's unbelievable. You can dance during the day. It's great. And so David said to Greg, book it. Let's do it. Saturday night. So they did. And in the middle of the set, the place, you know, it was kept hush hush, but I guess word got out because the place was jam packed. And in the middle of the set, David Lee Roth stopped and said to the audience, wow, these girls in Calabasas really shake their asses. And so he goes, but you, Tommy, you're the first to record it, you know? So I thought that was a pretty cool story by Greg, you know? So, and about David Lee Roth at our favorite spot, the Sagebrush Cantina. If you ever get a chance and you're in Calabasas, check it out because it's magical.
I just wrote it down.
Yeah.
What I thought was kind of interesting at the beginning and the end of the song, there's people talking.
Well, it's sort of like a party atmosphere. They're all partying and yee-hoo and everything. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I'd like that. You know, it was just very creative to hear that, and it just adds to the I think it adds to the realism, the emotion of your words. It kind of draws me in. I mean, that's just my emotion about this. I mean, I
Oh, thank
really, truly thought this was a journey for me listening. Now, and the next song is California Way.
yeah.
Um,
And I don't know if you dug it, but that's Greg Bissonette on drums once again. And
okay.
Greg does this, like the drums sound so 60s to me. I got a real mamas and papas groove from the drums on this song. And you know, I think it says it all, California Way, you know, taking a ride, you know, in Southern California, you know, it's beautiful. Like, you know, on the PCH, I mean, like there's nothing like driving along the ocean. And you know, you see the surfers and you know all the campers there that they stay in and stuff, the motor homes and all that. They're all lined the PCH because they're all surfing there. And you know, it's just beautiful sunset coming down. I mean, there's so much gorgeousness, honestly, that
Right.
I had to write that song. And I feel like the song is really warm. You get a real warm feeling from my vocal, and and uh, and I hope you can get it. If you close your eyes, you can picture California, because that's what I was going for.
It, it's hugely real for me, and you can picture it. The sun will really warm you as part of the words. I like that. The sun will really warm you wherever I want to be. I also like there was some laughing at the end of the song.
Yeah, that's Amy.
That's Amy.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's chuckling because you know it's a happy place. I mean, like when you're there, you can't help but smile. So you know, and she's so much fun. So I got that at the end, and then I said, let's include that in the song because it's so cool. I think she's so cute. So that's why I did it.
Then I picked up on that. Yeah, as I read, not in the liner notes, but I read, and what I really liked about, because I'm a '60s guy, I am what I am. That's what Popeye said. I am what I am, and I'm a '60s guy, and there's so much '60s and '70s, inspired here. I think Tom Petty and Mamas and the Papas helped to inspire this, and that's one of the things I really liked about it. It's modern, but
Yeah,
there are roots, as there are roots that you mentioned. Um, and the next song, won't you tell me? For me, it had a folk rock feel to it.
yeah, yeah, with a little bit of a Beatles twist. And
Yeah.
I mean, with Michael Blue producing the album, Michael he's from England. He's a real Beatles fan, and I said to him, I want to do something with this song because I had everything, but I didn't have quite. And then I watched Get Back, you know, the Beatles movie,
Right.
while I was there,
Uh-huh.
and I saw something, and I said, yeah, that's it. That's what we have to do. And so Michael kind of answers me in the song, Michael and Dalton Sear. You know, you won't listen, you don't hear me at all. And it gives it a real Beatles feel, I think. And that's Dan Goldberg on drums on this track, my brother-in-law,
Okay.
Amy's. And
What?
Dan actually, we did a listening gathering sort of thing on the 12th, and Dan, of course, his partner, Dan's a feature film, you know, top 1% of Hollywood, from Meatballs to the Hangover movies, and his partner was Ivan Reitman for 40
Wow.
years. So
Wow.
he passed. Ivan passed on the day of my party, my
Mm.
gathering. So Dan and his wife Lona went to Montecito and stayed with the family for the week. But we saw him after that. But I mean, just crazy stuff. But Dan was great on drums on that. I read the intro and stuff. I mean, it's his passion was drums. So I thought, well, why wouldn't you play on one of my albums?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And he was great. Him and Greg Bissonette got along really well, and Fernando Perdomo, who played bass on every track, was
Mhm.
there. fun. Everybody was having fun. And this song, you know, it's to me, it's Won't You Tell Me is like, you know, I'm asking questions, and then the second verse, I kind of answer the questions myself, you know, and you know, won't you tell me? Never mind, I already know, you know, life is love, but love must always grow. You know, won't you tell me? Never mind, I already know, you know, it's just you know, there's disappointments in life, but you got to carry on, you got to move forward, and you got to let that stuff go. Otherwise it'll bring you down and it'll eat away at you, and it just makes you, it just hurts you. So that's why I wrote Won't You Tell Me. I think it's a pretty decent song, and it's funny because I wrote it in our living room where I'm sitting right now.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
yeah, and Amy said, "Oh my God, I love that song, the hook and everything," but I just felt there was something missing. And when I met Michael and Dalton Sear, we brought it together and brought it home. And I think that's the single off the album actually. It's my favorite song. So, and I wrote that myself. So
Okay.
I'm quite proud of that song. Well, I'm proud of them all, but
Yeah.
that one in particular.
Another offbeat question to ask you before we it's another one of these fill in the blank things.
I love
Yeah.
those.
So Tommy, fill in the blank here. Before I leave this earth, I won't be happy until I blank.
Before I leave this earth, I won't be happy till I blank.
That's right.
Before I leave this earth, I won't be happy until, well, I mean, I think happiness is all on yourself. I think that I'm always happy. I've always been happy. I've been through a lot in my life, but I've always maintained my sense of humor, my joy, my hope, and so I'm happy right now. I met the woman of my life, my partner, my soulmate. I'm creating great music. Personally, that's my opinion, and the journey is real and a lot of fun. So I'm very happy, and I won't be happy until I'm dead. I guess I won't be sad until I don't know what to say to that. You know?
That's fine.
Honestly, I think
That's
I'm
fine.
happy now, really happy. Honestly, I'm not happy with the world, but I'm happy with
Yeah.
myself, relationships.
Fine. Perfect. Moving on. Everybody has a favorite on something. This was my favorite song on California Way. Hey Sister.
Yeah,
There's a lot I want to talk about. Obviously, it resonated with me because I have a sister who I felt kind of the same way that you felt to Lori. I feel to my sister. So I listened to this a few times. And I guess it was Lawrence Juber before and after on guitar solo.
yeah, Lawrence. Wow. I mean, the music speaks for itself. You know, I wrote this song. My sister asked me to write a song. Hey, how come you never write a song about me? And I thought, well, I don't know. I will then. And my sister's a real country fan. She loves Garth Brooks, and she's a real country fan. So I wanted to write a country song for her. So I hooked up with my brother-in-law, Stephen Hogg, who's one of the best in Canada as far as folk and country artists. He's a fabulous songwriter. And we co-wrote the song together. I asked him, and he said, yeah, let's do it. And then we did it. And I was very honored. And it came out great. And then, wow, Lawrence Juber, fabulous intro, outro, unbelievable. And Fernando Perdomo did the guitar on the song itself. And it's very country, but it's very, I think it just, you know, I wanted to write a song my sister just loved to play, you know, and I think I did that. I just recently played it for her and she started crying. So
Yeah.
I think mission accomplished.
No, it's really emotional. You always have my back and get me on track. when the walls came closing in, you always set me straight long before too late. It was beautiful words, and
Thank you.
you could feel, I felt, the relationship with my sister, and I felt the relationship that you have with your sister. It's
Do you,
a great song.
do you still see your sister, Calvin?
Yeah, I do.
And,
It's
and
funny. We're very close. We were very, I mean, we were very close growing up, and you're a creative guy. We were so close, and I'm 9 years older than her, so I'm basically 1 or 2 generations removed. But there was a period in time when we were really, really close, to the point where, and I still might do it, writing wise, to write. There was a great old novel called The Corsican Brothers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and it's an old movie. It must be from the 40s. 2 brothers are separated by thousands of miles, but they could feel each other.
Yes.
And it's a thing that really, it has not been really. I'm throwing it out to you, Tommy, but it hasn't been really done much. But yeah, and my sister and I could always feel each other, kind of thing.
Well,
And
twins you have that too. Twins have that.
yeah,
too.
especially twins, but
Yeah.
we're not even close to twins, 9 years apart. But I wanted to write something to honor that, the
For
fact
sure.
that you were so close. And we used to, we would share back in the old days, all kinds of stories about our personal lives. And there were no holds barred, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
um, and it was a special relationship. Of course, now, I mean, the last chunk of years, she's not divorced and all, but she got 2 grandkids, and I mean, really close and special.
Yeah.
But so that's what your song meant to me.
Fantastic. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going for, because I wanted to write a song for my sister, but I wanted it to apply to everyone's sister, and I didn't want to put my sister's name there and make it like that. So I wanted it to be so everyone could relate, and play it for your sister. Maybe she'll.
Guess what? I am. By the way, I am. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. It's funny. I called her.
That makes me so happy.
I called her last night with the express purpose of getting her. She wasn't home. I left her a message, but I wanted her to hear that, because it's great words. The next one is a fun song, Hollywood Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a fun sort of poppy song, about being a driver in a limousine, picking up movie stars and rock stars, and that's what the whole scene is in LA. Sort of, it's everyone's a star, and so maybe someday someone will be driving me, and that's was the whole thing about
Right.
it,
Right.
and I want to do a video for this song, and I want to play every part in the video. So look for that,
Okay.
including the girl.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's a little bit of a theme I took out from California Way. And the theme is dreaming of getting there, of arriving, of being there.
Right.
Like dreaming someday somebody's going to drive me around. And I know there's another song I took a note, but California Dreams. I don't know if that's the Beach Boys, but
Yeah,
yeah. So that to me, I mean, that my observation, again, not sophisticated, it's a part of this album is about dreaming.
yes, definitely, and fulfilling your dreams.
Yes.
Me, that's what I did. I fulfilled a few dreams, and that's part of my journey, and I'm so grateful and so happy. you know. I wrote a song, we'll get to it, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. Speaking of Beach Boys and Dream, and I think it's the next song, but maybe not, I don't know.
The next song I got a kick out of, Everyday Stars.
Exactly.
Yeah, Everyday Stars.
So Amy and I would go to breakfast almost every morning at the Beverly Glen Deli, and that's where all the stars go. And if you watch Brian Wilson on his latest documentary bio, Brian Wilson, he's talking to the guy who's making the movie. They're driving, and he says, "So, what are you going to have at the deli today?" You know, because he goes there every morning to have breakfast. You know, and John Voight, he's there all the time having breakfast. You know, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. There's stars everywhere. Ruth, well, I can't remember her last name, but I mean, there's so many there. You know, old stars, new stars. You know, rock stars, football stars. They're all there, and it's very special. And we got to know the owners of the Beverly Glen, Stephen and Leslie Arnold, and we invited them to our little gathering, and they came and had a blast. And you know, and it's very cool because everyone goes there, they see the stars there, but don't react. They just keep eating their breakfast like nothing's unusual. So they're just the everyday stars. They just want their coffee like everyone else and go on with their day, you know. So, but you know, it is like the parking lot's full of Bugattis and Mercedes Benz and you know all of most expensive cars. They're all there. Rolls Royce, you know. And so myself, you know, we pull in our jalopy. That's what I was going for, you know.
Right. You said that a few times, jalopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I just thought it was kind of fun, and I just wanted to write a song that for them really, and about the special place at the Beverly Glen Deli.
Cool. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think when we talked last week, I mentioned I used to work out with a rather major rocker. I won't mention names.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I don't mention names, but he's one of the biggest rockers in the world.
He's a boss man, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss, and it's so funny, you know. I mean, that was my gym, and it happened to have been his gym, and so for 2 years we were on the same schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you know, I don't cut into his world, just like the Beverly Glen Deli. You know, you see them there, they're there. He doesn't cut into my world, although he did once. But it's a certain respect, and you just, you know, it's just life and people, and and so
and you know, but you know, I did, you know, speak to a few of them. They're very generous and very polite, you know, like they're great human beings. They gave me a little bit of their time, but
right.
I didn't, you know, ask too much or, you know, take too much of their time up, respectfully. So you know, it was a blast, a real blast. And then, you know, after a few times, you know, go there often enough. Hey, how you doing? You know, hey, how you doing? You know, it's like, you know, they're just cool human beings. You know,
right,
like
right. You even mentioned quote football star in the movie, so I'm assuming you've seen some football stars there too.
Football, basketball,
Yeah.
yep.
Right, basketball. Yep. So a fun song, really. I'm reiterating myself. It's just so California, and it's so American, and that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Thank you.
The next song, "Tough Times," it's kind of you kind of borrowed that from Gatto.
Yeah, it's a cover song. Greg wrote "Tough Times," and it's like one verse, and then the chorus continues to fade out. It's like a cello and piano, I think, on the original song. Well, I changed all that, and not only that, but I wrote a second verse and another chorus, And Greg, I sent it to Greg after I'd finished it, and he absolutely loves it. And I'm hopefully going to try and get some airplay on radio with that song. It's pretty rocking.
It is rocking. I called it, in my words, it was a little bit too harder rock than some of your other songs.
Yeah. And with that song, like Greg, you know, I co-wrote a song with Greg on the album I Believe in Love called Love Conquers All. And, you know, Greg, you know, he's such a rock star. And not only that, but a great human being. And he gives so much of himself to everyone else that I just wanted to pay tribute to him and thank him for what he did for me and through this song. So he was very thankful, and he actually loves it. So I'm very happy about it.
Great, great. I like that. I like that a lot. And our last song, This Is Home to Me, where I can live true and free.
Yeah.
Magic, and I love it. California Dreams, all sights I've seen. Welcome home, be there to stay one day. It's great words.
Thank you, Calvin.
Great words.
And it's true. I mean, I love California. I love where I stayed. Like I've been to a few places, but you know, mostly LA, not so much the city, but surrounding areas. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, near the ocean, the mountains, the canyons. It's my kind of place. I'm a beach bum. What can I say? You know, and I mean, you could go wherever you want, but to me, California is the spot for me, for sure. And true and free because I'm Canadian. You know, that's like my old Canada. I believe I can live there true and free as well. And it's, I mean, if you haven't been there, it's paradise. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. And if you live there, then you're very lucky.
Yeah. So, in terms, it's a wrap. Where I really wanted to explore your words, the emotions, and how this came about, because I so enjoyed it, and we're keeping to time constraints because you're going to have to kind of hit the road.
Yes.
Hey, Tommy, come back anytime. Talk about anything. Come back with Amy, whatever. You know, I sit here 7 days a week. I'll probably be sitting here for a long, long time, 7 days a week, because I'm comfortable sitting here.
I'm a hat guy, and I love your hat, man. I want to get one of those Ruger hats. Is that
well, it's a Rutgers, yeah, it's a Rutgers hat.
Rutgers?
It's a Rutgers hat. Hey, you know what? Well, when we go off air, you'll give me a address. I'm gonna send you a Rutgers hat.
Awesome.
I've been wearing it. I told you for 10 years. It became my, when you wear that, you know, the Viper.
The Viper room, yeah.
Hat is just for me, it's just a great thing. And it's funny, my hair some years ago was kind of long like yours, but I always wore a hat, and I still wear a hat, and my wife and I conflict because she doesn't want me to wear a hat. She tells me my hair's going to fall out, so I'm waiting. It's not happening. It did turn gray. I couldn't do anything about that. So
I'm a big hat fan myself. I've
Love
always
it.
worn hat. I'll usually have a hat on, but same my wife, when I go out, she goes, don't wear a hat, you know, like your hair's beautiful. Why would you wear a hat? Right?
She says that to me all the time. Don't wear a hat. and I wear a hat to everything. I mean, that's where it is. I wear a hat to everything, except my son's wedding. I wasn't allowed. So be it. So this was great. Please come back. We'll stay in touch. And once again, California Way is coming out.
Yay.
Need to get a hold of that. And we're going to sign off. Have a great weekend. And I can't thank you enough for your time and your work and your music.
It was so my pleasure. I mean, like the first time I spoke to you, I thought, wow, this guy is so cool. And I really want you to meet Amy and have some conversations, because I know you guys really hit it off.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I just think your show is fabulous. I've saw a few of your guests prior to, and I will continue to watch.
Thank you.
Because you have very interesting guests, and it's always informative. And you're a very, very lovely human being. Thank you very much.
All right, Tommy, thank you. You did make my day. That's
You made mine.
That's an Arnold. That's a Clint Eastwood line. You did make my day. Thank you, Tommy.
All right, take care, my friend.